How to recognize foolishness. 6 signs you should know. Modern Stoicism. Foolishness is its own punishment. This timeless insight reminds us that the decisions we make and the qualities we cultivate shape the course of our lives. In a world filled with distractions and complexities, the pursuit of wisdom has never been more crucial. Yet, to truly grow, we must first learn to recognize the signs of foolishness, both in others and within ourselves. At Stoic Secrets, we explore the profound lessons of modern Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us to master our emotions, sharpen our judgment, and embrace self-awareness. In this video, we'll uncover 6 unmistakable signs of foolishness through the lens of Stoic philosophy. These insights are not here to judge but to guide, serving as a mirror for self-reflection and growth. By learning to identify and overcome these traits, you'll unlock the path to a wiser, more meaningful life. Let's dive into these essential Stoic secrets and discover how to rise above. Number 1. Closed mind. A closed mind is one of the clearest signs of ignorance, a condition that binds individuals to outdated beliefs and prevents them from evolving. This limitation doesn't just inhibit personal growth, it isolates people from progress, understanding, and the possibility of living a more enriched life. Those who resist change, even when faced with undeniable evidence that their beliefs may be flawed, construct a self-imposed prison of stagnation. They choose comfort over challenge, familiar routines over the risk of discovery. This resistance is not new. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, repeatedly emphasized the importance of self-reflection and the courage to embrace perspectives beyond one's own. For Marcus, an open mind was not merely a tool for personal improvement, but a vital attribute for navigating life's complexities. The reality is, we are all fallible. Acknowledging this and seeking the wisdom of others is a strength, not a weakness. Yet fear of being wrong or appearing foolish often traps people in a defensive posture, guarding their beliefs as if they were under siege. This fear acts like a fortress, protecting people from discomfort, but also keeping out the opportunities for growth. Much like a fortress that becomes an echo chamber, it limits the exchange of ideas and stifles intellectual development. Seneca, another prominent Stoic thinker, perfectly articulated this dilemma with his timeless observation. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Many of the anxieties we experience about admitting error or changing our views are exaggerated, products of our own minds. In truth, acknowledging a mistake is not the catastrophe we imagine it to be. The greater harm comes from stubbornly clinging to flawed beliefs, perpetuating a cycle of ignorance and missed opportunities. It's an act of self-sabotage that keeps us from learning, adapting, and thriving. In today's world, the consequences of a closed mind are particularly evident. Think of the workplace, where individuals who refuse to adopt new tools or methods can hinder not only their own performance, but also the progress of their entire team. In relationships, a rigid mindset can lead to misunderstandings, unresolved conflicts, and emotional distance. On a broader scale, societal issues like polarization and resistance to scientific advancements are fueled by the same unwillingness to consider alternate perspectives. Modern Stoicism offers us a way forward. It reminds us that humility and a willingness to learn are not signs of weakness, but of strength. To admit we are wrong is not to fail. It is to open the door to improvement. By shifting our perspective, we can transform the fear of being wrong into an opportunity to grow. Breaking free from the chains of a closed mind requires practice and intentional effort. It starts with questioning our assumptions and actively seeking out perspectives that differ from our own. When we encounter opposing viewpoints, instead of dismissing them outright, we should strive to understand the reasoning behind them. This doesn't mean we have to agree with everything we hear, but it allows us to test our own beliefs and refine them. Engaging in this process is an act of courage and self-discipline, traits that the Stoics valued deeply. As Epictetus wisely said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." If we approach each day with the mindset that there is always more to learn, we open ourselves to a world of possibilities. Modern life, with its rapid pace and constant flow of information, presents unique challenges to maintaining an open mind. The temptation to retreat into echo chambers of like-minded opinions is stronger than ever, but doing so deprives us of the richness that comes from engaging with diverse ideas. Overcoming this requires a conscious effort to be curious, to listen, and to question not only others but also ourselves. When we embrace the principles of modern Stoicism and approach challenges with humility and a desire to grow, we gain the clarity and resilience needed to navigate life's uncertainties. The journey to wisdom is not about being right all the time. It's about being willing to learn, adapt, and evolve. By adopting this mindset, we liberate ourselves from the limitations of a closed mind and move closer to the freedom of true understanding. Number 2. Blaming others. Blaming others for our problems is an unmistakable sign of immaturity and a lack of self-awareness. It's an easy trap to fall into because pointing fingers often feels simpler and less painful than looking inward. But here's the catch. Have you noticed how this habit doesn't actually fix the problem? In fact, it tends to amplify frustration and keep us stuck in a cycle of denial. When we shift the blame, we sidestep the valuable opportunity to examine our own shortcomings, which are often the key to growth and self-improvement. Stoic philosophy sheds light on this dynamic with a profound truth. Personal responsibility is the doorway to wisdom. Marcus Aurelius encapsulated this beautifully when he said, "You have power over your mind, not over events that occur outside of yourself." This timeless Stoic secret teaches us that while we may not be able to control the world around us, we have absolute authority over how we choose to respond. Let's break this down with a practical example. Imagine someone who consistently blames their boss for missed deadlines. They grumble about micromanagement or unclear expectations, but rarely pause to consider their own role in the situation. What if, instead of pointing outward, they reflected inward? Could procrastination or poor time management be contributing to the issue? By refusing to take responsibility, they stay trapped in frustration, missing the chance to learn better strategies and improve. Responsibility is not just about admitting fault, it's about claiming the power to change and adapt. When we recognize our role in a setback, we open the door to address it, learn from it, and grow stronger as a result. Isn't that a more rewarding path than being stuck in a loop of blame? Here's a modern story to illustrate this idea. Think about Alex, a young entrepreneur who launched his first business with high hopes. When it failed, he blamed his investors for not supporting him enough and the market for being unfair. For years, this mindset kept him stagnant. It wasn't until Alex decided to confront his own missteps, acknowledging his lack of preparation and hasty decision-making, that he began to grow. Armed with this newfound sense of responsibility, he started a second business, this time with better planning and stronger discipline. His next venture succeeded, not because the world became kinder, but because Alex changed. By taking ownership of his actions, Alex unlocked his true potential and rewrote his future. Now, take a moment to reflect on your own life. Is there a situation where you've been quick to place blame on others? What might change if you asked yourself, what could I have done differently? These aren't easy questions, but they are transformative. Growth is not about perfection, it's about progress, and progress begins with the acknowledgement that our actions and decisions shape our journey far more than external circumstances. When we let go of the habit of blaming others, we release ourselves from the grip of helplessness. It's a profound act of strength to own our mistakes, not as a way of diminishing ourselves, but as a way of empowering our growth. Stoic philosophy reminds us that wisdom is found in mastering our reactions, taking responsibility, and seizing every challenge as an opportunity to learn. The lesson is clear. Responsibility is not a burden. It's the foundation of freedom and resilience. So, what's holding you back from taking ownership of your life story? Could today be the moment you step into your power and start shaping the future you desire? That's the essence of Stoic secrets, transforming responsibility into a source of strength and wisdom. Number 3. Overconfidence without merit. Overconfidence without merit is a subtle trap that can cloud your judgment and stunt your growth, both intellectually and emotionally. Have you ever been so sure about something that you dismissed opposing views outright? This mindset often stems not from strength, but from ignorance. Overconfidence, when not rooted in true understanding or skill, can lead you to stop asking questions, stop listening to others, and ultimately, stop learning. It's a dangerous cycle, as it not only blinds you to the limits of your knowledge, but also isolates you from valuable insights. The great Stoic philosophers understood this well, particularly Socrates, who humbly proclaimed, "The only true wisdom is in knowing that you know nothing." This timeless reminder speaks directly to the heart of intellectual humility. Wisdom begins when you recognize the vastness of what you don't know. Think about it. How often do we assume expertise in areas we've barely scratched the surface of? Modern psychology gives this phenomenon a name: the Dunning-Kruger effect. It explains why those with limited knowledge often believe they are experts, while true experts are more aware of their limitations. This overestimation leads to dangerous behaviors, like dismissing the opinions of others or ignoring the nuances that come with deeper understanding. Imagine someone with minimal knowledge in economics confidently lecturing others on global markets. They miss the complex dynamics at play, overlooking the perspectives of those who have spent years mastering the subject. Does this sound familiar? Perhaps you've encountered someone like this, or even recognized it in yourself. Modern Stoicism teaches us that such overconfidence is not strength, but weakness disguised as certainty. When we refuse to acknowledge our limitations, we close the door to growth. The Stoics believed in lifelong learning and the pursuit of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, urged himself, "You are not yet perfect, you are not yet wise." This constant push to improve reflects the Stoic ideal. Never settle, never assume you've arrived. Humility is not about lowering your worth, but about opening yourself to continuous improvement. Ask yourself, what areas of your life could benefit from a more curious and humble approach? What's even more insidious about overconfidence without merit is that it can erode relationships. People often resist engaging with those who think they know everything because such individuals are hard to teach, hard to work with, and frankly, hard to like. Contrast this with someone who admits their gaps in understanding and actively seeks advice or feedback. Which type of person would you prefer to be around? If you lean toward humility, you not only grow intellectually, but also deepen your connections with others. This is why the Stoics valued open-mindedness and the willingness to learn. They saw it as a strength, a sign of true wisdom. So how do we guard against the arrogance of unwarranted confidence? Start by questioning your assumptions. When you find yourself feeling certain, ask, "What if I'm wrong?" This simple act can open your mind to alternative viewpoints and foster deeper understanding. Make it a habit to seek out voices that challenge your perspective. Seneca reminds us, "The mind is like a field. If it is not cultivated, it cannot produce a harvest." Cultivation comes from exposure to diverse ideas and the humility to accept that you might have missed something important. Another strategy is to practice active listening. When someone shares their thoughts, resist the urge to immediately inject your opinion. Instead, ask questions. What can you learn from their experience? How might their perspective refine your own? This approach not only enhances your knowledge, but also demonstrates respect, which strengthens your relationships. Embrace the Stoic principle of amor fati, or love of fate. Accepting life's unpredictability reminds us that we can never truly control or know everything. When you recognize this, overconfidence loses its grip. You begin to see yourself as a perpetual student, constantly evolving through life's challenges and surprises. Isn't that a more fulfilling way to live? Modern Stoicism calls us to a higher standard of self-awareness and humility. It invites us to acknowledge our limitations, not as weaknesses, but as opportunities for growth. Overconfidence without merit might feel empowering in the moment, but it ultimately limits you. True strength lies in your ability to remain curious, open, and eager to learn. So, I'll leave you with this question. The next time you feel certain, will you pause to ask yourself if you've truly earned that confidence, or if it's time to learn more? You've made it this far because you're committed to living with wisdom and embracing the power of humility. Let's make this journey interactive. Leave a comment with the slogan, "Growth begins with humility," to show that you're ready to challenge overconfidence and remain open to learning. Stay engaged. Greater insights are on the horizon. Number 4. Acting without considering consequences. Acting without considering consequences is one of the clearest signs of foolishness, yet it remains a common trap in modern life. This behavior is often rooted in a relentless pursuit of short-term gratification, leaving individuals vulnerable to regret and hardship when the effects of their choices unfold. In the whirlwind of daily life, it's easy to focus only on the present moment, choosing fleeting pleasures over lasting benefits. Yet, the cost of impulsivity often far outweighs its rewards. Stoicism teaches us to step back and reflect before acting, a principle beautifully captured by Marcus Aurelius when he said, "What we do now echoes in eternity." This timeless wisdom reminds us that our actions ripple far beyond the moment, shaping not only our immediate surroundings, but the very fabric of our future. Consider modern examples. Someone who recklessly spends their earnings on unnecessary luxuries may soon face financial instability, or an individual who sacrifices meaningful relationships for career ambitions might find themselves lonely at the peak of their success. These scenarios are not mere anecdotes, but reflections of how acting without foresight can disrupt our sense of purpose and harmony. In Stoic practice, the antidote to such recklessness lies in deliberate reflection and alignment with one's core values. Before making a decision, ask, "Will this serve my long-term well-being and align with the life I wish to build?" This simple question fosters mindfulness, curbing impulsive tendencies and encouraging thoughtful action. In the modern era, where the pressure to act quickly is amplified by technology and societal expectations, the Stoic secrets to navigating life offer profound clarity. One such secret is learning to pause and envision the possible outcomes of a decision. Just as a skilled chess player anticipates several moves ahead, we too must cultivate the discipline to foresee the consequences of our actions. This approach not only guards against regret, but also empowers us to create a life that reflects our highest aspirations. The temptation to focus on immediate gratification is understandable, but Stoicism reminds us that true fulfillment comes from aligning our actions with enduring principles and values. By prioritizing long-term rewards over fleeting pleasures, we can build lives of substance and meaning. This mindset requires courage and patience, but it is the path to genuine contentment. Epictetus wisely observed, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." When we act without thought, we allow our emotions and impulses to dictate our choices, often leading us astray. But when we temper our desires with reason and reflection, we gain the clarity needed to act wisely, avoiding the snares of foolishness. In your journey, strive to make decisions that serve your future self as well as your present. Resist the allure of immediate rewards when they conflict with your greater goals. Remember, what you choose today not only shapes your tomorrow, but also determines the legacy you leave behind. As Stoicism teaches, wisdom lies in the balance between action and contemplation, enabling us to act with purpose and avoid the regret that often follows impulsive behavior. Let your actions reflect not just the person you are today, but the one you aspire to become. This is the essence of living with intention, and it is the key to recognizing and avoiding the pitfalls of acting without considering consequences. Number 5. Spreading negativity. Spreading negativity is a deeply self-defeating habit that saps energy from ourselves and those around us, creating an environment of distrust, dissatisfaction, and unhappiness. When people indulge in constant complaining, relentless criticism, or idle gossip, they often become ensnared in a vicious cycle of helplessness and frustration. This pattern not only limits their personal growth, but also affects the emotional well-being of those in their orbit. Stoic philosophy, as the backbone of modern Stoicism, provides a guiding light out of this negativity by emphasizing the importance of focusing on what lies within our control and fostering a positive, constructive attitude. When we find ourselves caught in a storm of negativity, it is often because we are projecting unresolved frustrations outward instead of addressing the root causes within ourselves. The truly wise take a moment to pause and reflect, asking themselves, "What steps can I take to improve this situation or my response to it?" For instance, in the face of a workplace conflict, the natural reaction might be to criticize a colleague for their shortcomings or to vent frustration about their perceived inefficiency. However, a Stoic mindset encourages a different approach, one rooted in collaboration and constructive action. Rather than tearing someone down, offering guidance or constructive feedback not only addresses the problem at hand, but also builds a foundation of trust and mutual respect. This approach aligns beautifully with Marcus Aurelius's timeless wisdom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By choosing to focus on positivity and solutions, we initiate an internal transformation that extends outward, positively impacting our interactions and relationships. Seneca's advice to associate with people who are likely to improve you further highlights the importance of the company we keep. The people we surround ourselves with have a profound influence on our mindset and behaviors. In our modern lives, this could mean being intentional about reducing time spent with those who thrive on negativity and instead building connections with individuals who embody qualities like gratitude, kindness, and resilience. These positive influences not only inspire us, but also encourage us to adopt healthier and more constructive perspectives. Additionally, when we consciously replace negativity with actionable solutions, we reclaim control over our lives and break free from the disempowering grip of the victim mentality. This shift from complaint to action is a powerful declaration of self-agency, reminding us that we are not powerless in the face of challenges. Modern Stoicism teaches that spreading positivity does not equate to ignoring or sugarcoating life's difficulties. Rather, it involves confronting challenges with courage, wisdom, and grace. When we approach problems with a solution-oriented mindset, we unlock opportunities for growth, for ourselves and those around us. This transformation is not instantaneous. It requires sustained effort, mindfulness, and self-awareness. Yet it is through this effort that we cultivate the foundation of wisdom and resilience. Epictetus's profound reminder that it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, perfectly encapsulates the essence of this philosophy. Each moment of negativity presents an opportunity for us to make a choice, to succumb to frustration or to rise above it with grace and purpose. When we commit to spreading positivity, we not only enhance our personal lives, but also inspire those around us to do the same. It is a ripple effect, one that transforms individual actions into collective improvement. Whether it is offering encouragement instead of criticism, seeking solutions instead of problems, or surrounding ourselves with uplifting individuals, these small choices accumulate into a life defined by harmony, resilience, and purpose. By embodying these principles in our daily lives, we take meaningful steps toward overcoming foolishness, achieving personal growth, and living in alignment with the enduring wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Number 6. Lack of empathy. Lack of empathy is undeniably one of the clearest signs of foolishness, and it can leave a trail of destruction in its wake, affecting our relationships, sense of belonging, and even our personal growth. When a person cannot understand or appreciate the emotions, struggles, and experiences of others, they inevitably become disconnected from the world around them. This disconnection often breeds misunderstandings, fuels conflict, and fosters a sense of isolation. In the teachings of Stoic philosophy, we are continually reminded of the deep interconnection between all people. Marcus Aurelius captured this truth beautifully when he wrote, "What injures the hive injures the bee," highlighting how the well-being of others is inherently tied to our own. Think about this in your own life. How many relationships have you seen crumble because one person refused to look beyond their immediate needs? Imagine a friend overwhelmed by stress, hoping for support, but instead of receiving it, they're met with indifference or dismissal. That simple lack of empathy can make them feel alienated, and before long, the bond you shared might begin to fade away. Such failures to empathize do not just harm others, they also leave you isolated, depriving you of meaningful connections and community. Empathy is the antidote to this kind of short-sightedness. It equips us with the ability to listen deeply, to consider perspectives that may differ from our own, and to acknowledge that others are carrying unseen burdens. By practicing empathy, we don't just improve our relationships, we elevate our own character. In embracing this Stoic secret, we unlock a greater wisdom that comes from seeing our shared humanity. The next time you encounter someone who seems irritable or distant, instead of reacting with frustration, take a step back and ask yourself, what might they be going through that I cannot see? Could they be dealing with grief, chronic stress, or silent challenges? Instead of jumping to conclusions, approach them with patience and understanding. This small shift in attitude can transform not only the interaction, but also the relationship as a whole. Let's ground this principle in a real-world example. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague fails to meet an important deadline. Your immediate reaction might be irritation, assuming they are careless or uncommitted. But pause for a moment and ask why. What if this person is juggling personal difficulties, like a sick family member or financial troubles? By choosing to empathize rather than judge, you have the chance to strengthen your relationship with this colleague. A simple act of understanding can foster trust and even inspire them to do better in the future. Isn't it extraordinary how a moment of empathy can change the trajectory of an interaction? This is the power of empathy. It opens doors to deeper connection, encourages mutual respect, and fosters collaboration in ways that judgment and impatience never can. The wisdom of Stoicism reminds us to value connection over isolation. So, as you go about your day, reflect on this. How often do you truly listen to others without planning your response? When was the last time you stopped to see a situation through someone else's eyes? Are you quick to react defensively, or do you take the time to approach conflict with a desire to understand? By pondering these questions, you can identify areas where empathy may be lacking and take active steps to grow in this crucial quality. Practicing empathy isn't a sign of weakness. It's one of the greatest strengths you can develop. It allows you to navigate life's challenges with wisdom, grace, and kindness. The next time you find yourself faced with a choice between judgment and understanding, choose the path of empathy. Not only will you become a better, wiser person, but you'll also enrich the lives of those around you and create a ripple effect of connection and care. Now that you've made it this far in the video, I want to take a moment to commend you for your dedication to becoming a better, wiser version of yourself. It's not every day that people take the time to reflect on how they can grow and improve, and you are doing just that. As we continue to explore these Stoic lessons, I want to humbly ask for your support. Leave a comment below because it really helps the channel grow and connect with more like-minded individuals. If you're not sure what to say, just comment, "Empathy changes everything." Your thoughts matter, and they make this community stronger. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more insights like this. Together, let's continue to explore the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and apply it to modern life. The signs of a foolish person can easily be spotted through their daily actions and habits. If you recognize these signs in yourself or others, it's time to reflect and improve. Wisdom comes not only from knowing what is right, but also from the ability to recognize foolish actions and steer clear of them. However, identifying foolishness is just the first step. What comes next is how to improve and grow as a person. Practical steps to overcome foolishness. To not only recognize but also overcome foolishness in life, we need to apply specific steps. In this section, we will explore practical steps to transform from someone lacking wisdom to someone with greater insight and intelligence. Keep watching as we dive into how you can make this change. Number 1. Cultivate humility. Humility is the cornerstone of personal growth and wisdom, and it's one of the most powerful tools you can cultivate to avoid the pitfalls of foolishness. In a world that often glorifies arrogance and certainty, humility is your quiet yet profound acknowledgement that you don't have all the answers. It's about recognizing the vastness of knowledge and admitting without shame that you are a perpetual student of life. Think about it. How often do we miss opportunities for growth simply because we're too proud to listen? A humble person approaches every situation with curiosity, seeing others as potential teachers rather than competitors. When you embrace humility, you unlock self-awareness. You begin to see your limitations not as failures, but as opportunities to improve. This mindset allows you to invite feedback and constructive criticism without feeling threatened, recognizing that every piece of advice is a chance to become better. Imagine being in a discussion at work and a colleague suggests an idea you hadn't considered. Do you dismiss it because you didn't come up with it yourself? Or do you listen and reflect, seeing it as a chance to expand your perspective. The latter approach not only enriches your understanding, but also fosters respect and collaboration. After all, people are more likely to connect with someone who genuinely listens and values their input. In relationships, humility creates a space where mutual respect and understanding can thrive. It removes the barriers of ego, making room for authentic communication. Humility also empowers you to adapt to change, a vital skill in navigating the complexities of modern life. Foolishness often stems from stubbornness, the refusal to adjust or admit that a different approach might be better. Think about the last time you clung to an outdated idea or resisted advice because it challenged your worldview. What did that cost you? The moment you accept that you don't know everything, you open yourself up to growth and transformation. This is especially relevant in modern Stoicism, where the focus is on applying ancient wisdom to today's fast-paced and unpredictable world. In a time where information is abundant, yet wisdom is scarce, humility serves as your guide, helping you sift through noise and find what truly matters. Now, ask yourself, are you truly humble? Or do you find yourself defending your ego more than seeking understanding? Reflect on moments when you might have dismissed someone's input or felt too proud to admit a mistake. What would have changed if you had approached that situation with humility? Practicing humility doesn't mean devaluing yourself. It means valuing truth and growth above the need to always be right. This shift in perspective can help you avoid the traps of overconfidence and pride that often lead to foolish decisions. As Seneca wisely noted, the greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. Humility grounds you in the present, allowing you to focus on what you can learn and improve right now. The beauty of humility is that it doesn't require grand gestures or public declarations. It's found in small, consistent actions, admitting you're wrong, asking questions instead of assuming answers, and actively seeking out diverse viewpoints. It's in the quiet moments of self-reflection where you acknowledge your flaws without judgment and commit to doing better. Over time, this practice transforms you into a person who is not only wise, but approachable and trustworthy. People gravitate toward those who are humble because they feel seen and respected. Isn't that the kind of person you aspire to be? Modern Stoicism teaches us that growth is not about reaching perfection, but about continually striving to be better. Humility is the compass that keeps us on that path. So, as you go about your day, take a moment to pause and reflect. Are you listening as much as you're speaking? Are you open to being wrong if it means discovering something greater? Remember, humility is not a weakness, but a strength. It allows you to see the world clearly, free from the distortions of pride and arrogance. By cultivating humility, you not only sidestep the traps of foolishness, but also set yourself on a course toward wisdom, resilience, and deeper connections with those around you. What step can you take today to embrace this virtue more fully? The answer, as always, begins with you. Number 2, take responsibility. Taking responsibility is one of the most transformative Stoic secrets to overcoming foolishness and cultivating wisdom. It is a practice rooted in the philosophy of self-mastery and accountability, which empowers us to take charge of our lives and shape our future intentionally. When we choose to take ownership of our actions, we open the door to reflection, learning, and growth. Conversely, blaming others or external circumstances for our failures may offer a fleeting sense of relief, but it ultimately stunts our development and traps us in a cycle of ignorance and denial. By embracing this mindset, we shift from being passive victims of circumstance to active creators of our own destiny. For instance, Imagine a scenario where a team project misses its deadline. It is tempting to point fingers at a colleague for their perceived shortcomings. However, true growth occurs when we instead reflect on our role in the situation, perhaps recognizing that we failed to communicate expectations clearly or overlooked potential risks in our planning. By doing so, we transform setbacks into valuable learning opportunities. Responsibility, far from being a sign of weakness, is a testament to emotional maturity and inner strength. It takes courage to admit mistakes and humility to learn from them, but in doing so, we demonstrate character and integrity, qualities that inspire trust and respect in others. Taking responsibility also has a profound impact on our relationships and interactions. When we own our choices and actions, we signal reliability and trustworthiness, strengthening our bonds with others. Whether in the workplace, at home, or within our communities, people value those who can acknowledge their errors and strive to improve. In contrast, deflecting blame or making excuses not only damages our credibility, but also undermines the collective effort needed to achieve common goals. Responsibility, therefore, is not just about self-improvement. It is about fostering a culture of mutual respect and accountability that benefits everyone around us. Another vital aspect of this practice is its alignment with the Stoic principle of the internal locus of control. In modern life, where external distractions and excuses abound, focusing on what lies within our control is a liberating and empowering approach. When we embrace this mindset, we stop wasting energy on things we cannot change and instead channel it toward what we can influence: our thoughts, decisions, and actions. This shift not only helps us navigate challenges with greater resilience, but also keeps us grounded in our personal growth journey. In a world where accountability often takes a backseat to convenience or self-interest, adopting this Stoic practice helps us stand out as individuals of integrity. Taking responsibility consistently not only allows us to grow and make better decisions, but also sets an example for those around us. It shows others that we are committed to facing life's difficulties with courage and honesty, rather than shirking our duties or avoiding hard truths. By accepting responsibility, we reject the trap of helplessness and replace it with a mindset of empowerment and control over our destiny. Taking responsibility for our actions is a transformative act that moves us away from the folly of denial and toward the wisdom of self-awareness and accountability. Each time we own our decisions, we take a step closer to becoming the best versions of ourselves. This process is not always easy. Growth rarely is, but it is profoundly rewarding. Through this practice, we foster resilience, deepen our relationships, and align ourselves with the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, steering our lives toward a path of integrity, progress, and lasting fulfillment. Number 3. Think long-term. Thinking long-term is one of the most powerful antidotes to foolishness, a mindset that helps us navigate life with clarity and purpose. Too often, people make decisions based on the lure of short-term gratification, failing to consider the long-term repercussions of their actions. This impulsive behavior might feel satisfying in the moment, but often leads to regret when the consequences inevitably surface. In the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, thinking about the future and aligning our current actions with our enduring goals and values is a core principle. Long-term thinking allows us to resist fleeting pleasures and instead invest in choices that cultivate lasting fulfillment, such as prioritizing education, personal development, or the nurturing of meaningful relationships. The value of long-term thinking lies in its ability to shift our focus from temporary gains to enduring benefits. It requires patience and discipline, qualities often undervalued in a world that emphasizes immediate results. Consider someone who spends recklessly for short-term enjoyment only to face financial stress later. Contrast this with the individual who deliberately sets aside resources for investments, retirement, or opportunities for growth. The latter not only builds stability, but also cultivates peace of mind. This approach, while less gratifying in the moment, yields a life of greater freedom and security. Modern Stoicism teaches us to delay gratification by understanding the cost of indulgence. It asks us to pause and evaluate whether our actions today align with the life we hope to create tomorrow. Seneca's words, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable," illustrate how failing to plan for the future leads to aimlessness and eventual regret. Long-term thinking also fosters resilience by encouraging us to embrace temporary discomfort as a step toward lasting rewards. For instance, someone who prioritizes health by exercising regularly and eating well may endure short-term effort, but they gain a lifetime of vitality and fewer health concerns. Similarly, in relationships, making the effort to communicate openly and resolve conflicts can seem challenging in the present, but ensures trust and connection in the future. This kind of foresight helps us avoid the foolishness of neglecting what truly matters. Modern life offers countless distractions and temptations, from excessive consumerism to the relentless pursuit of immediate convenience. However, by adopting the mindset of long-term thinking, we shift our focus to actions that bring enduring joy, stability, and success. When we practice long-term thinking, we step away from the trap of short-sightedness and instead build a life grounded in intention and foresight. Delaying gratification, making purposeful sacrifices, and evaluating the broader impact of our choices are all acts of wisdom. They remind us that fulfillment is not found in chasing momentary pleasures, but in cultivating habits, relationships, and pursuits that align with our core values. As Epictetus wisely stated, "No great thing is created suddenly," reminding us that the greatest achievements and joys in life require patience and persistent effort. By embracing this perspective, we not only avoid the pitfalls of impulsive decisions, but also create a future built on stability, purpose, and genuine contentment. Through the lens of modern Stoicism, thinking long-term empowers us to live with greater clarity and resilience, leaving behind the foolishness of short-sightedness and stepping confidently into a life of enduring wisdom and fulfillment. If you've made it this far, you're truly stepping into a path of wisdom and long-term thinking. Leave a comment with the slogan, "Vision shapes greatness," to affirm your commitment to lasting values and purposeful action. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, because your journey toward a life of clarity, resilience, and intentionality is just beginning. Number 4. Practice positivity. Practicing positivity is one of the most powerful tools for overcoming foolishness and living a life of purpose and fulfillment. A negative mindset often acts like quicksand, pulling us into frustration, resentment, and an endless cycle of focusing on problems instead of solutions. Stoic philosophers wisely teach us that our thoughts shape our reality, a concept that holds profound truth even in modern times. Choosing positivity does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending life is perfect. It's about facing difficulties with a mindset that seeks solutions and opportunities for growth. Consider this. When you encounter a difficult situation at work, like a project that feels overwhelming, do you find yourself complaining about how unfair or impossible it is? A positive person, instead, would channel their energy into figuring out what can be done, taking proactive steps to move forward. This isn't blind optimism, it's practical and empowering. By focusing on what's within your control, you're embracing one of the key Stoic secrets. Control your mind, and you control your experience of the world. Let's illustrate this with a story. Imagine Rachel, a young professional who found herself assigned to a high-pressure team tasked with meeting an almost impossible deadline. Her colleagues spent days grumbling about the workload, the manager's unrealistic expectations, and the late nights ahead. Rachel, however, decided to take a different approach. She acknowledged the difficulty, but immediately started breaking the project into manageable tasks, offered solutions to improve efficiency, and encouraged her teammates to do the same. Instead of feeding into the negativity, her positive approach inspired the team to focus on their strengths, turning a stressful situation into an opportunity to grow. By the end of the project, not only did they meet the deadline, but Rachel's leadership and attitude earned her the respect of her peers and opened new doors in her career. Now ask yourself, when life throws challenges your way, how do you react? Do you let negativity take over, or do you pause, reflect, and focus on what you can do? The truth is, a negative mindset doesn't just drain your energy, it poisons your relationships, clouds your judgment, and blocks progress. On the other hand, positivity fosters resilience, helping you bounce back from setbacks with renewed determination and hope. It also makes you more approachable and a source of light for those around you, strengthening relationships and creating a supportive environment. Doesn't that sound like a more rewarding way to live? The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control external events, we are always in control of our internal world, our thoughts, attitudes, and reactions. Positivity is a cornerstone of this self-mastery. By choosing to focus on the good and approach challenges constructively, you're not just improving your own life, you're setting an example for others, creating a ripple effect of optimism and growth. So, what's stopping you from embracing positivity? Could it be fear of failure, or perhaps a habit of dwelling on the negatives? Whatever it is, know this: practicing positivity is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed with intention and effort. The lesson here is simple but profound. When you cultivate positivity, you attract positive energy and build a life grounded in constructive thinking and behavior. This doesn't mean you won't face difficulties. It means you'll face them with courage and a clear mind, ready to adapt and thrive. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, how can I bring more positivity into my daily life? Whether it's through gratitude, reframing challenges, or simply choosing to focus on what you can control, the choice is yours. This is the essence of Stoic secrets, transforming your mindset to take charge of your emotions, reactions, and ultimately, your life. Number 5. Develop emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful tools you can develop to avoid the traps of foolishness and to lead a life of wisdom, resilience, and meaningful connections. At its core, emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize, understand, and manage not only your own emotions, but also the emotions of those around you. Think about the last time you felt overwhelmed by frustration or anger. How did you handle it? Did you react impulsively, or did you pause to assess the situation calmly? This distinction is where emotional intelligence makes all the difference. As the Stoics emphasized, control over our emotions is essential to living a virtuous life. When you develop emotional intelligence, you gain the ability to remain calm under pressure, a skill that helps you make thoughtful decisions even in the most challenging circumstances. For example, imagine being in a heated disagreement. Without emotional intelligence, you might lash out in anger, worsening the conflict. However, with this skill, you can take a moment to breathe, consider your words carefully, and respond in a way that diffuses tension rather than escalating it. This is not about suppressing emotions, it's about managing them in a way that serves you and others positively. The Stoic principle of apatheia, a state of inner calm and control over destructive emotions, encourages us to cultivate such mastery, ensuring that emotions don't rule over us. A critical aspect of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. How well do you know your emotional triggers? Do you understand how your feelings influence your actions and decisions? Developing self-awareness means taking a step back to reflect on your emotions and their origins. For instance, if you often find yourself feeling irritated in certain situations, ask yourself why. Is it because of an external factor, or is it your internal perception that needs adjusting? Modern Stoicism teaches us that our power lies not in controlling external events, but in controlling how we respond to them. Equally important is empathy, the ability to understand and connect with the feelings of others. Imagine how much stronger your relationships could be if you truly listened to others, not just to reply, but to understand. Empathy fosters trust, connection, and cooperation, whether in personal relationships or professional environments. It's about showing others that their experiences matter to you. When you practice empathy, you embody the Stoic value of justice, treating others fairly and with respect. As Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Ask yourself, how often do you genuinely listen to others, setting aside your own assumptions and judgments? Communication also plays a vital role in emotional intelligence. It's not enough to manage your emotions internally. You must express your thoughts and feelings in a way that builds understanding and resolves conflicts constructively. People with high emotional intelligence communicate with clarity and kindness, ensuring that their message is received without causing unnecessary harm. For instance, instead of saying, "You're wrong," you might say, "I see it differently. Can we explore this together?" This approach invites dialogue rather than defensiveness and reflects the Stoic practice of engaging with others thoughtfully. Emotional intelligence also involves resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and maintain your composure in the face of adversity. Life will throw challenges your way. How you handle them determines your character. Modern Stoicism emphasizes that our ability to remain emotionally steady is crucial to navigating life's difficulties. When you develop emotional intelligence, you strengthen your emotional resilience, allowing you to adapt and grow rather than crumble under pressure. How do you currently handle setbacks? Could a more measured, emotionally intelligent response improve your outcomes? By practicing emotional intelligence, you can avoid the pitfalls of emotional outbursts, misunderstandings, and poor decisions that stem from unchecked emotions. It empowers you to make wiser choices, foster stronger relationships, and approach life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Modern Stoicism encourages us to cultivate these qualities as part of our journey towards self-mastery and virtue. So, as you reflect on your emotional habits, consider this. How can you use emotional intelligence to create a more harmonious, balanced, and purposeful life? Number 6. Commit to lifelong learning. Committing to lifelong learning is an antidote to the stagnation and complacency that often accompany the belief that we have arrived at some final stage of wisdom. It is a mindset that embraces the truth that education is not confined to the classroom or limited by age, but is instead a journey that spans a lifetime. In a rapidly evolving world, the willingness to learn, adapt, and grow is essential, not just for staying relevant, but for cultivating wisdom and overcoming the ignorance that underpins foolishness. The Stoics regarded learning as an essential pillar of personal growth, a practice that refines character and sharpens judgment. In modern life, where technological advancements and societal changes occur at an unprecedented pace, this principle is more relevant than ever. Those who commit to lifelong learning demonstrate a willingness to venture beyond their comfort zones, whether by mastering a new language, developing a skill, or pursuing a passion they once set aside. For example, consider someone in their 60s who takes up digital literacy to connect with younger generations or navigate a technology-driven world. Such efforts not only expand knowledge, but also foster adaptability and resilience, qualities vital to navigating the uncertainties of life. Lifelong learning is not confined to formal education or career advancement. It also encompasses personal exploration and self-reflection. By examining our experiences and learning from our successes and failures, we gain insights that guide future decisions and enrich our understanding of ourselves and others. This process of reflection aligns with the Stoic secrets of growth and adaptability, as it teaches us to approach life's challenges as opportunities for learning rather than setbacks. When we adopt this mindset, we cultivate curiosity and a genuine openness to new perspectives, which in turn keeps us mentally agile and engaged with the world around us. Furthermore, lifelong learning fosters intellectual humility, the recognition that no matter how much we know, there will always be more to learn. This humility guards against one of the most destructive forms of foolishness, the belief that we have all the answers. When we stop seeking knowledge, we risk becoming rigid and resistant to change, a state of mind that leaves us ill-prepared for the inevitable shifts and surprises of life. Instead, by committing to continual growth, we remain adaptable and prepared to meet new challenges with confidence and insight. As Socrates famously said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." This perspective encourages us to approach every situation with curiosity and a willingness to learn. In today's fast-paced world, where change is the only constant, lifelong learning is not just a tool for self-improvement, but a necessity for thriving. It keeps us connected to the evolving currents of society and equips us with the skills and perspectives needed to navigate its complexities. Whether it's engaging in meaningful conversations, exploring new hobbies, or simply reading a book that challenges our worldview, every act of learning enriches our lives and strengthens our ability to adapt. The path of lifelong learning is not always easy. It requires effort, discipline, and the courage to confront our own limitations. Yet, the rewards are profound, a life marked by growth, wisdom, and fulfillment. By embracing the mindset of a lifelong learner, we align ourselves with the Stoic principle of continuous self-improvement and equip ourselves to live more meaningful and resilient lives. Remember, committing to learning is not about accumulating knowledge for its own sake, but about transforming that knowledge into wisdom that shapes our actions and decisions. In doing so, we avoid the traps of foolishness and cultivate a life defined by curiosity, adaptability, and purpose, a legacy that echoes the timeless Stoic secrets of wisdom and growth. In conclusion, the journey toward wisdom is a lifelong endeavor, requiring self-awareness, humility, and a commitment to personal growth. By identifying and addressing the 6 signs of foolishness, closed-mindedness, blaming others, overconfidence, acting impulsively, spreading negativity, and lacking empathy, we can align ourselves with the teachings of modern Stoicism and embrace a life of purpose and emotional resilience. The Stoic secrets we've explored remind us that acknowledging our flaws is the first step towards self-improvement and deeper connections with others. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Secrets for more insights into Stoic wisdom. Turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos, as we continue to explore practical ways to apply Stoic principles in today's fast-paced world. Together, let's walk the path toward a wiser, more fulfilling life.